This week, as I reflected on the budget we are about to approve, it occurred to me that this is the 18th budget I've had a hand in shaping. My early experience with the county budget was as an executive for a nonprofit organization, then later as a cabinet official, and now as council president. Those experiences provided valuable context that helps me see this budget from multiple angles. While the $6.3 billion budget before us contains tens of thousands of line items, an overwhelming amount, I know that each of those line items tells an important story. And together, they create the foundation for what is most important to us. A community with excellent schools, housing for all residents, strong economic development, green spaces for recreation and relaxation, safe neighborhoods, robust libraries, a community with strong public health and where seniors can age with grace and support, a healthy environment, and a safety net that ensures food, housing, health for our vulnerable residents. Every budget brings its own set of challenges and opportunities, and this budget, frankly, is among the strongest I can remember. Thanks to the support of federal and state partners and an economic recovery that was stronger than anticipated, we have more resources to work with than we imagined possible at the beginning of the pandemic. In fact, over the last year, we have been working more closely with our state and local leaders to identify ways to help our community thrive, and they have come through for us on many different levels. I am proud that this council worked diligently to ensure that we balance the growing needs in our community with fiscal responsibility. We accomplished this without raising taxes and by fully funding our reserves to ensure that our county will remain strong in the face of challenges that threaten our financial security, a potential looming recession, and the growing inflation rate, which has us all very concerned. But this budget puts our county on a firm footing for the future. We listened to our residents who, to their credit, even during a pandemic, made the effort during the budget process to make their voices heard on the critical issues that matter. They wrote, testified, texted, tweeted, and posted their opinions, which helped shape the budget we will approve today. And while, as is often the case, we weren't able to meet every interest, we came as close as I think was reasonably possible. A heavy emphasis of this budget is supporting our most vulnerable populations. We recognize that the Department of Health and Human Services has been at the center of the county's COVID-19 response and needed to significantly increase many services to meet those emergency needs of our residents. And funding more than $420 million for DHHS will go a long way in supporting the department and supporting our most vulnerable populations. We recognize that as the pandemic federal funds decrease, we will need to continue to assess the needs of our community and do our best to backfill those federal funds. We focused on the most critical yet most basic needs of our residents. Food insecurity continues to be a significant need across our county. We supported over $1 million to create the new Office of Food System Resiliency and $4 million in one-time funding to continue the county's response to food insecurity. We supported the outstanding work of our minority health initiatives and programs and approved more than $12 million for the continuation of their essential delivery of culturally competent services and resources. We approved $5.6 million to enhance the funding for the county's consolidated service hubs and recognize the vital role of these service hubs within the county's provider network and their overwhelming achievements in building and executing this community-based model, which serves as a strong foundation moving forward. We also recognize the need to further support our nonprofit partners and increase by 2% on top of the 6% recommended by the county executive to base contracts, and also extended that to other nonprofit partners. This was an important investment. We recognize the need to support our schools during one of the most challenging times in the history of education and funded our schools with a record $2.9 billion. And we fully funded Montgomery College's request at $312.2 million with resources to maintain tuition rates with no increase and supported expansion into the East County. We funded multiple mental health initiatives and social services for high school students, including an increase of $3.7 million for mental health and case management services at 10 priority high schools without an existing wellness center. We also added $5.5 million to expand mental health, case management, and positive youth development services through the Street Outreach Network and community-based providers to all high schools without an existing high school wellness center program. We funded $250,000 for the expansion of the girls' sports leagues and increased out-of-school time programming with an additional $2.2 million to help close the opportunity gap that widened during the pandemic. We supported the level of funding of $10.9 million for the Early Care and Education NDA, which is an important infrastructure project which will allow us to enhance opportunities for early childhood development for our entire community. We approved $2.5 million in funding for the Guaranteed Income Pilot, which is a transformational pilot program that I believe will go a long way in helping to break the cycle of poverty in our community. During the most critical times of the global pandemic, our first responders and many county employees have stood on the front lines, facing increased risks, trauma, and mental health challenges stemming from on-the-job stress. And we know that we are in a critically important time as we address rising crime, but that we balance ensuring the transparency and accountability of first responders and law enforcement with the recognition that these are tough jobs on a good day, and that we have significant and historical recruitment and retention issues that have to be addressed. To that end, we collectively move forward with ensuring that the Police Accountability Board received the staffing level and support necessary to help ensure that accountability and transparency. But we also took steps to ensure that we funded through compensation the hard work of our first responders, including law enforcement, so that we help address some of the myriad of needs that we have in that department that are very real and have to be addressed moving forward. Our world is facing a climate emergency. The past several years, and especially the last few months, our residents have felt the brunt of climate change right here in our community. We have experienced record flooding, and in one tragic case, a young man lost his life trying to save his mom in a flash flood. In this budget, the council increased our Department of Environmental Protection by 116% to ensure that our county will be a leader in the effort to fight climate change. This includes initiatives to boost our clean energy, energy conservation programs, and climate education and outreach. The council also, as we noted just a little while ago, made significant investments in the Green Bank, which is a further demonstration of our commitment to address climate change here in Montgomery County. And as we know, an aging infrastructure and limited transit options are a recipe for tremendous challenges. So this year, the council invested $228.6 million in our Department of Transportation to balance affordability and equal access to transportation. Ride-on and call-in ride services will be restored to pre-pandemic levels, and we will build a zero-emissions bus fleet, the first of its kind in the nation, to help our county reach its climate action plan goals. And as chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, I'm delighted that we added nearly $1 million in grants for local nonprofit organizations to provide transportation services for individuals who are disabled or seniors or individuals with limited incomes. In addition, the council approved $50 million for the Housing Production Fund, bonds for the Housing Opportunity Commission to fund new construction of affordable housing. Housing remains one of those infrastructure challenges, which is on its most basic level a supply and demand issue, and one that we have to address moving forward to help ensure we meet the needs of our community. Economic development, quality of life, all of it stems from that work and ensuring quality housing that is affordable for all of our residents. Economic development is the driving force that provides for the high quality of life that we all enjoy here in our community. And we added, in addition to dedicating $4 million to our Economic Development Fund, which helps attract and keep employers here in our county this year, we provided $2.1 million to help our hotel and motel industry, which has been deeply impacted by the pandemic. Many of our urban areas need assistance in promoting their small businesses in commercial hubs. And with the $10 million we provided to establish business improvement districts, they will be able to provide bids to boost their marketing and promotion to continue to grow their downtowns. And our economic development partner, the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, received $6.2 million to continue their marketing efforts. This and so much more would not be possible, the work to get us where we are, without the incredible support of staff. And there are numerous critical players in the budget process. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to my team, Joy Nurmi, Lillian Cruz, Beth Schumann, and Maida Bayonet. I want to thank them for their leadership and dedication. The Council President's office carries an important responsibility, and I learned it is not a ceremonial position, and carries with it a tremendous amount of weight and long hours for our teams. And I have never been more impressed with the way that our team has stepped forward, and want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for that commitment and hard work. We are also fortunate as council members, but more importantly as county residents, to have a remarkably talented and committed central staff. I want to thank Executive Director Marlene Michelson, Deputy Director Craig Howard, and all of their team, as well as the Director of the Office of Legislative Oversight, Chris Seiler. And thank you also to Sonia Healy and our Public Information team for building critical bridges in our community as we sort through the noise and the challenges and making sure we get the right information out to our public. I'd also like to thank our Clerk of the Court, Judy Roop, and our outgoing clerk, Selena Singleton, for keeping the trains moving on time. And of course, I especially want to thank our IT staff, who have done phenomenal work and allowed us to work in this hybrid environment in a way that has been pretty extraordinary and seamless. While at times the last several years have felt exhausting, overwhelming, and yes, some days depressing, I quite frankly have never felt more confident about the future of our community and our county. This budget sets a strong foundation that keeps Montgomery County moving forward and affirms the principle that we all succeed when we all succeed. So thank you all very much.